Welcome everyone. We're just going to get started in a couple minutes. Welcome everyone. We're just going to get started. Thanks everyone for coming. We'll get started in a couple minutes. All right. Thank you everyone for coming to our event tonight with the Rochester Homeless Union as a part of our first event for our winter homeless offensive for our screening of our new documentary, The Road We're On. We created this documentary a couple weeks ago in the hopes to really bring awareness to the organizing work of the Rochester Homeless Union and also the homeless crisis that we're in right now that has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. And we really wanted to give a voice to the homeless to really change the narrative of understanding who is poor, who is homeless, is really actually a different reality from the story that the general public really believes. And so we really wanted to have a way to show that. And so I'm really honored to have you all here so we can watch this together. And then after that, we'll have some incredible speakers to talk about their own experiences with homelessness and also the local and national organizing that's going on around homelessness and structural poverty. So first, I just want to highlight some events that I'll go more to detail at the end. We have more events for our Winter Homeless Offensive. And so on Sunday from 12 to 3, we're doing a Project a Survival Supply donation drive at 287 Flower City Park. And so we're looking for winter gear, some plastic storage materials, some rat repellent. There's more information on our Facebook page as well to meet the needs of the people, and also we're moving to organize as well to address poverty. So we want to include both. On Monday at 7 p.m., we're going to be having a homeless memorial live streamed on our Facebook page to honor the lives of those who have lost their lives due to homelessness. And then on the 19th at 1 p.m., we're going to be doing a Right to Housing, Not Death in the Street car caravan to do a direct action to show our city and our county that we can actually prevent deaths from happening this winter by housing people and really changing the conditions. And so that's what we have moving forward. And so I'm going to get started showing our film, The Road We're On, which was made in collaboration with the New York State Poor People's Campaign media team.
You got more stuff coming in. Got like $5 of this. What to do with it, Dave? All right? Yeah, I'm good. I'm a tree surgeon. I climb trees for a living.
Right now.
How's it going, brother?
I'm good today.
Every day we park our equipment to pass by those people standing in line at the open door mission. We sit in the tree truck. You know, and I wind up a lot of those people that I seen that were standing in that line, you know, by in tent city, you know, in 0 degrees in a tent. Believe it or not, I done stayed in that same place right there plenty of nights. You hear me? And I begin to find out, you know, these people aren't what I was made to believe. They're just people just like me, and some just is going through changes in their lives.
Me and my brother, every day we work, actually have jobs, but most of the money goes into generators. You see, we got solar panels, we got batteries to pay for, we got, you know, these sleeping bags, things like this, tents that we pay for out of our own pocket.
Well, we're working on trying to get another converter box, so at least you have some power during the winter. People would tell me, I lost my apartment because I got sanctioned. They
Sorry about that. Looks like we're having some tech issues, so I'm going to start this over to improve the quality. Sorry about that, everyone.
You got more stuff coming in. You got like $5 of this. What to do with it, Dave? All right? Yeah, I'm good. I'm a tree surgeon. I climb trees for a living. All right, now. How's it going, brother? I'm good today. Every day we park our equipment to pass by those people standing in line at the open door mission. We sit in the tree truck. And I'd be like, those people, and that would be our conversation, those lazy people. Look at that one, you know. And I wind up, a lot of those people that I seen that were standing in that line, you know, by dealing in the sheltering system now, I see those people, you know what I mean? And none of those people were what we said they were, you know? You're all right. Because I was in the same situation where I had to come out here and stay in Tent City, you know, in 0 degrees in a tent. Believe it or not, I done stayed in that same place right there plenty of nights. You hear me? And I began to find out, you know, these people aren't what I was made to believe. They're just people just like me, and some just is going through changes in their lives.
Me and my brother, every day we work. Actually have jobs, but most of the money goes into generators. You see, we got solar panels, we got batteries to pay for, we got, you know, sleeping bags, things like this, tents that we pay for out of our own pocket.
Well, we're working on trying to get another converter box, so at least you have some power during the winter. People would tell me I lost my apartment because I got sanctioned. They didn't have a proper document or they didn't show up to a work detail. So then I'm thinking, I'm like, this seems like it's meant to not have a person be able to go through social service or to get Medicaid or to get an education or to get a proper home to stay or to get a decent job. We decided to start an organization. Hello? No, I'm at Mercy. I found out that this would be a really good place to have as a base for the homeless union.
I thought there has to be a place in Rochester that's open 24/7 that will welcome homeless people, anybody in need, any time of day or night.
Because of COVID, normally these will all be filled with people. Because of COVID, we can't house anybody. We try to keep them separated. Some people, when COVID hit, they wouldn't dare walk through these doors. We lost all the people that would come in here volunteering because they're afraid they're going to get COVID from these homeless people, you know? Danny, wake up, Danny. So then the homeless had to step up and run the business themselves. This one of our lead security guys. And we gave him a job assignments, and one to clean, one to do this, one to do that, whatever was needed. He lives here as a resident. He found him a place to stay. But he comes back and help us now. You know what I mean? 7 days a week. 7 days a week. And make sure people keep the mask on. And then we haven't had a case of COVID in this building, which is amazing.
The power is going to come from people who have absolutely nothing to gain and nothing to lose from this system. But it's also so hard to organize people who literally don't have stable housing. Like, there's so much, you're in survival mode.
One guy in particular I'm looking for, he went from getting out of prison straight up to living up on that bridge. You know, so I've been there quite a while. And everybody continues to say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And they've even interviewed him on the news, and still nobody's come there to help him. All he wants is his ID. He's got no ID. They can automatically take him to jail.
Like when you wake up in the day, you're just thinking, how am I going to live today? How am I going to find something to eat? How am I going to stay safe? So to now try and add organizing on top of that, of a system, like that's just really difficult work to do. So a lot of organizers in the National Homeless Union talk about like projects of survival and how that is political and revolutionary, just to house people, to feed people, because you need to do that in order to actually move forward to get political power. I feel like Patrick really embodies both. Like all day he's running around trying to get people to be able to live their life, but then he's also trying to work towards trying to change the system. So you have to do both at once. Are we getting a non-driver ID card?
Yeah, I just got to get a replacement.
Yeah.
Somebody stole my wallet.
What people do is like, well, he's choosing not to be in a shelter, so he's choosing not to get help. We don't have the right help for people if that's like your only option.
Appreciate anything people help me out with. You know, I'm a little down on my luck. I had 4 back surgeries, and unfortunately I got addicted to painkillers, and that led to heroin and homelessness, and you know, it's been about a year off and on out in the street now, so it's been hard. I'm not gonna give up though. I'm still trying to.
Think about coming to a shelter? I'm always behind the desk.
Oh, okay.
Or just ask for Patrick, and you know, we'll work with you, man. It's gonna get cold, bro.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Homelessness is not just necessarily people under a bridge. It's people living in cars. Like it's people who are couch surfing. Like there's so many people who like fall into that category who like get missed, and so the number is so much higher.
You can't have so many people in the sheltering system because of COVID. And they decided to start sending people to the hotels, like the Radisson Hotel.
It's been proven the hotel is probably the best place for them right now.
We watch people that were homeless go into those hotels. 2 or 3 weeks later, a month, you can barely recognize that person. And their character, they got their dignity back. They feel like they're somebody. All they want to do is get out and take care of themselves properly. And when they get at that extent, next thing you know, the hotel's ejecting them right back into the street. We've been trying to get transformational housing. It's supposed to be transitional. I say transformational housing because I've seen a lot of people just transform into themselves, back to themselves. You know what I mean? You didn't have to transition them to back to themselves. They've been there before. They just transform. That traumatic person that's been homeless, he goes back to himself and have a desire to help the brother, help the sister, you know, because I consider us all brothers and sisters that are coming through those doors. Well, the city of Rochester is one of the 4th most impoverished cities in America. After Kodak shut down, Xerox shut down, they took all other companies into different places in different other cities. It's just been terrible ever since. We never got the opportunity to build back up. Our city somehow has the idea that they can bring Rochester back by gentrifying the community, so the people in the suburbs want to come back and live. The majority of our people are unable to afford the rents. $800, $900, $1,500 a month. $400 or $500 is what they could possibly afford, and they put them into rooming houses in the inner city. A regular home of 3 bedrooms, they cut it up and put 5, 6, 7, sometimes 10 rooms, and rent them out separately. $440 a month, so they could make money. Now COVID's hit, and just those everyday regular people that we used to tell, oh, you're just one paycheck away, realize they are just one paycheck away because some of them didn't get that paycheck and they're on the street being evicted. Something to eat, bro? Yes. The death rate has been climbing. I was just telling a friend the other day about, well, they came to me and said, hey, you know, Crystal died. And I'm like, wow. And then a day later, they telling me where Andrea died. And a couple days later, I get where they was telling me Charles died. These are the people that have died throughout the years, throughout House of Mercy. And instead of having them here on the cross, we decided to have this built, donated, and we're gonna start putting their names on each bird. What size you wear?
34,
You gonna be here tomorrow?
here every day now.
I'll bring you some clothes out.
Sure.
And I'll see if I can find him a jacket and possibly a pair of shoes.
Right. Did you see what size
He
he was?
was 9, so I get him 9 or 9.5. There it goes, man. You've done more for me today than they've done for me ever. Thanks a lot. God bless you. And I'm like, you know what? That made me feel really good.
Yeah.
That I actually got the opportunity to help somebody and that actually needed help. I try to explain to people and politically educate them and have classes. We have a stage right here. We teach class. We're teaching those people why they're poor. And people just start gathering. They want to know. They know what their legal rights are. They know how to fight for themselves along with us. And those same people that we were teaching, that we're learning, we would say, we're having a protest downtown. And everybody be like, just get up.
They realize they have a voice. It gave them a sense of empowerment.
Pretty soon, everybody's, man, when are you gonna, you need to protest this too. You know, take the union down there and protest this too. I'll speak on it, yeah. You realize that you're not doing this really for self. I think somebody assigned you to this job, Patrick, and I believe God assigned me right to this job, and that's my job, and I'm gonna keep this assignment and do the best I can at it. We do have a road that we're on, and we just need other people to walk with us on that road.
All right. Well, that was the film that we made, The Road We're On, and I want to give a special thanks to Richard and the rest of the New York State Poor People's Campaign team for helping us film and put that together. Also, I apologize if the visual was a little choppy through the live stream. I posted the link to the Vimeo that is public, so you can share widely, where you can watch the video over again, and hopefully it will be a better quality for everyone. But yeah, I just want to take a second to honor, because it's a, very emotional and powerful video. But we want to be able to have time to have some speakers from some really incredible organizers. So I'm really honored to introduce our speakers for today. So we'll have Tracy Adams, Patrick Braswell, and Kristen Colangelo speaking with us today. And then we'll have a question and answer section towards the end after on any questions from the film, any material that the speakers talk about, and then also questions about the winter offensive. So with that, I'm going to introduce Tracy Adams, who is an organizer with Focal New York. So yeah.
She's muted. She's muted.
You hear me now?
Yes, you're good, Tracy.
Oh, okay. I was muted. Excuse me. Once again, my name is Tracy Adams, and I love Patrick and Sabine's work, and I'm glad to join the Homeless Union. But I was also once homeless, and that's what we're talking about this evening. And I became homeless, but got the verbal warning was the day after my birthday. I turned 58 years old this year, and my landlord wanted his property back. And it wasn't due to rent. So that was confusing me because, usually when people want their property back, you don't pay your rent. It have nothing to do with rent. wanted this property back. So I had a 60-day notice to vacate the premises. In the meantime, COVID, they locked down the schools and everything. And in the process, I lost my mom, my brother-in-law, my son, 2 aunts, a cousin during COVID and this pandemic that we're in right now. So when May 31st came along, I had to leave the premises. I didn't have a clue where I was going to go, what I was going to do. So, we packed up my stuff and my children took it to storage. And meanwhile, I got sick and things, and I couldn't go to a shelter. The reason why I couldn't go to a shelter is because I already have an infectious disease. I'm HIV positive. And if I went to the shelter, I felt with COVID and what's going on, I'd have died. So I had to couch surf. And I couch surf. Every week I was at a different place. Every 2 weeks I was at a different place. I couch surf between my children and a couple of friends, but that's still being homeless. See, people don't realize when you don't have your own home, when you put your own key in your door, and your name on the lease, that's being homeless. Even though I was at my children's homes or friends' homes, family members, it wasn't my home. I was still homeless and had to abide by somebody else's conditions in the ways that they live. So in the process, I came to Rochester. My oldest daughter lived here, welcomed me in her home. In 30 days, I found me an apartment and got a job, and I worked with Vocal. And I only got to do these things is because the education and the knowledge I have. So I have met a whole lot of people that is not as educated and knowledgeable as I am. So I feel my calling is to help people that can't help themselves right now. So I have walked this path, so I know what it's like to be homeless, not have. I know what it's like to be on drugs in the street, homeless, not having anything. So I don't want people to get misconstrued that people wake up and decide they want to be homeless. Nobody wakes up and says, I'm going to be homeless. Things happen in our journey and our walk in this life. Things that sometimes is out of our control. And we try to hold on to the bitter end. And then we have to face the marshals and leave. Being homeless is not a walk in the park. There's nothing fun about it at all. It's a scary thing when you don't know where your next meal is going to be at and where you don't know where you're going to rest your head at. So I love what I do. I love being a part of the Homeless Union. I love working with Vocal because what we fight for homelessness, the impact on mass incarceration. We fight for the drug wars, HIV/AIDS. We fight to try to get bills signed, policy passed. We fight for the homeless. So I'll do all what I can till I leave this planet to fight for the homeless. And I'm glad I got to share my little. Excuse me, people blinking. But I'm glad they asked me to share my story. And if I can help anyone, my number is 315-802-8342. I'll listen to you. I know what you feel like. I know what it's like. You know what I mean? That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Tracy, so much for sharing and also for the work that you do as well. You inspire me, and you are truly, when you say you give your number out, I'll be there for you, you mean it, and you will pick up the phone at any hour of the day to help someone. And it's really, really incredible, inspirational. So now we're going to go to our next speaker, Patrick Braswell, who is the founder and leader of the Rochester Homeless Union, also with the National Union of the Homeless, as well as the Poor People's Campaign. So I will turn it over to Patrick. You're muted, Patrick.
going to be a trend. Anyway, most people want to know what the homeless union is and what it's about. In the past, I experienced a time in my life in which I was homeless. And I'm going to say, fortunately, I got the opportunity to be amongst the people that we ridicule on a daily basis. And I found out that those people are not even close to what they're stereotyped to be. And as I was going in the sheltering system, I recognized that a lot of people there were telling me stories about why they were there, but by majority, they were telling me about the sanctioning that was going on in the Department of Social Services, and they wasn't being able to get any help for X amount of days, 30, 60, 120. I've heard of the 188, 180 something days where they don't get any assistance from the Department of Social Services because they missed a detail or proper documentation or didn't come to a appointment on time, 15 minutes late. And I kind of figured that was like, I used to be late for work and I still got, my paycheck. Nobody really had called in sick and still I wasn't fired because, I was tempted. It wasn't no everyday occurrence. Something had to be up in which there was a reason why I didn't show. Well, being in amongst these people, our people, my people, I recognize that we need to come together as a team and try to make a change and do away with the situation and either slow it down, hinder it, or just get rid of it, abolish it somehow. And grabbed a few of the people that I had got to know that are still my friends. And we decided to petition the sanctions and so forth and go on the street, get signatures as many as we can. And we actually began our organization points from that perspective. And I said, and I had got information about, there used to be these people a long time ago called the National Union of Homeless, where they organized, had a lot of power back in the day. I looked it up and I did have an interest. I'm like, wow, this is the same thing that we're going through, but the National Union of the Homeless had broke apart. And one of the things that caught my eye about the National Union is that they steadfast as a team and united, and they were all people that were living in poverty. So, organization of the poor, people that have been on the ground that know what's going on, people that really want to fight for themselves. That's a really strong team of people if you can organize them and get them together. So we decided to get homeless and formerly homeless individuals and call ourselves the Rochester Homeless Union. And we devised a crew of people that was steadfast in their belief or that wanted to know what was going on in society. We were able to grab attention and people spoke with us and gave us avenues in which we can obtain the education that we need. And we decided, as a leadership team, we need to spread this education. We need to let everybody know exactly what's going on to see from our point of view, not just our support us because this is what we do. Support us because this is what we need to do. It's because of us we need to do this. And that's where we actually came together as a team of people. And what hits me most is that I understand that by being in the sheltering system, and we hear people talk about the traumatic experiences in their lives, being homeless, like Tracy said, is it's like you're thrown in the valley in the middle of nowhere, no idea, no climbing gear, no water to drink, no food to eat, and no idea what you're gonna be like tonight. It's gonna be cold, where you're gonna stay, how you're gonna clean yourself. You go into the sheltering system, yes, you can do that there, but you have to buy, just like you said, by the rules and regulations of the sheltering system. It's been plenty of times where I probably caught me a good job and I wanted to work till 10 o'clock at night because I used to getting certain times of the year, it only gets dark around 9, and I'd be way out doing some tree work. But I had to make sure I get back to that shelter before I get ejected. So as a group of people, we decided to make changes in this to try to find housing for our people. And this is from the soreness of our hearts. That's how we actually evolved. And through education, we became a real team, and we continued to build the homeless union. Like I spoke with Tracy, we need people in our organization, not only that were formerly homeless or homeless, but people that have a heart to try to make a change and try to do away with the poverty that exists, because learning that systematically, it's throwing darts at a certain group or a certain class of people, and they're trying to keep us down. You hear about systematic racism, which is true, but at a particular time now, it's a class that's being destroyed, a class of people, and it's a big class of people. And if we can come together and fend for ourselves and get some bills passed and get our awareness out there in our society, that was the reason that we wanted to push forward. And I thank Richard for helping us develop this film, It's a Beam, to make awareness to actually what's going on. It's not just us sitting around a table, it's us going in the street. It's our project survival, and it's our wanting to have our people safe, watched after, assisted. And that builds a team, it builds a family. And that's who the Rochester Homeless Union is. And we're going to move forward, and we'd like to unite with other organizations that have the same self-interest that we have, that have the same desires. And right now, during this COVID, the amount of people that are homeless is doubled up on us, and it's changed the face. It's not what we would say the stereotypical. It's the people that lost their place of employment, that lost their job, lost their finance, and they don't know what to do. Our government is not providing the proper funding for us to be watched after or even assisted in times of COVID. COVID has changed the face. Our America right now is at its beginning. It's going to be at its lowest point, and the amount of people that are going to have to suffer or going to be suffering is the people that are lower class as it was before COVID. Middle class right now, when they lost their place, they see that they were one paycheck away. They are in the streets. They are being evicted. They are losing their homes. They are losing their cars. They're having to get things from other individuals, and most people not a lot of pride. Because I know when I was doing pretty good, I would never ask anybody for anything. So that's another obstacle that has people pushed on the street. And then when you get on the street, you wish to avoid reality. So when you hear about the stereotypes of the people that are on the street, they're all on drugs, they're on alcohol, and this and that, they're lazy. Seen many people that just deteriorate. They didn't even probably do drugs before they got homeless, drunk, drinking, trying to avoid what they've been in place, and got nobody to assist them. Mentally challenged individuals that don't actually know how to take care of themselves are on the street. They got no health care, no insurance, and people just avoid them, let them mingle in society, overlook them, starving, dying. The death in the homeless society is seen too many. Just in being in these last few years, a lot of my friends have passed, people that I've known. One in particular, we was talking about healthcare. He developed an addiction by living in the street, being places that normally he wouldn't be, but being accepted, that's what he had to do, come with financing, do drugs with these people to have a place over his head, I guess. And we worked with him, we counseled him, we talked to him. He was coming back to himself, and we were trying to get him into a rehab. And for some reason we couldn't come up with he didn't have the proper paperwork and insurance that was needed. He couldn't obtain, and Medicaid wasn't going to pay for it for some reason unknown. Today, we was going to send him out to the shelter. They denied him. He didn't go. 2 days later, they found him in the park dead. So these things are, we're trying to keep people safe in our society and give them the resources that are needed, attempt to assist them in any form, manner. If it's just a conversation, like, give me a call, I'll talk to you. If you need something, I'll do my best to help. Because these same people that I would stem myself when I hit the sheltering system, those same people make sure that I had what was needed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patrick. The city is really, really lucky to have a leader like you. This community is so lucky and blessed to have a leader like you. And I know I feel very blessed to also have a leader like you for the Rochester Homeless Union. And we are gonna now go next to Kristen Colangelo, who is with the National Union of the Homeless, Put People First Pennsylvania, as well as the Poor People's Campaign.
Thank you, Sabine. Can you hear me well? Mm-hmm. Good, thank you. That's going to be the tagline of 2020. Can you hear me? And not about the cell phones, right? My name is Kristen Colangelo. I use she, her pronouns, and I am with the National Union of the Homeless. I was also part of the original National Union of the Homeless. I'm with Put People First Pennsylvania and the University of the Poor. And I cannot express how deeply excited and happy I am to be here with the Rochester Homeless Union. We have been organizing and building relationships in Rochester for over 20 years. And we have had relationships with House of Mercy for decades. And we were organizing around, unifying and uniting our class, the poor and the dispossessed. Something happened in the last 10 years, concentrating in the last 5, where the unions, the homeless political unions, not trade unions, started to build power again. And we have a statewide council in California that has over 10 unions. And then on the East Coast, we have North Carolina, we have New York, Rochester being in New York. We also have a couple other areas that picked up the mantle that Patrick was talking about. We had some stuff on the internet. Patrick found it and said, hey, what's going on? And they hooked us up with Patrick. And Patrick and I have been doing this together for over 5 years, I believe, at this point, right, Patrick? It's been a minute. And also to raise up House of Mercy. Sister Grace has opened the doors of House of Mercy for us to organize out of and to build relationships. House of Mercy is a true example of a project of survival, where they're providing a need to housing, but they're politicizing it and weaponizing it by building a political union out of the House of Mercy. And we cannot express, well enough the love and the respect we have for Sister Grace, House of Mercy, Sister Rita, all those that are organizing out of House of Mercy in Rochester. Truly, truly the work of God. Patrick started with a number of us, right? We were working together to start to build unions before we actually reestablished the National Union of the Homeless. So the Rochester Homeless Union was already in place when we reestablished in 2019. And I'll get to that in a moment. But you are, Patrick, a national treasure. You are one of our lead organizers, and I just can't thank you enough. 24/7, man. You're 24/7, and I love you dearly. And everyone on the panel and on the call tonight, thank you all. Sabine, for pulling us together and organizing us into this call, thank you. Tracy, first of all, Tracy, thank you for sharing your story. I also was part of the original Homeless Union, and throughout my life have been homeless more than once. It is not something I would wish on anybody. It's a dark, dark place to be. And for me, when the sun went down, it was a terror that I didn't know what to do with. And we're fighting so that in the richest country in the world, with more houses than we need and more food than we can feed, we throw away more food than people need. We got to end this. And we do that through organizing and organizing again and getting up the next day and organizing again. And what I mean by organizing is that we come together, we unite around a common fight to actually end the conditions that are causing the suffering. So it takes a step beyond mutual aid, and it takes a step beyond like handing out or giving things. It weaponizes that. It weaponizes all our actions through political education and through an understanding that we're working together to end the conditions. We're not working on Band-Aids. We're not working on managing. We are working on ending these conditions. And the only power we have is in our organization. That's how we rise up. And that's built on the history of the original Union of the Homeless, which started to organize in the late 80s and organized through the 90s, up to 25 chapters across the country, up to 35,000 members. And we learned, as Patrick said, that we showed the world, we can think for ourselves, we can damn well speak for ourselves, and we can certainly fight for ourselves. And we can not just lead those struggling with homelessness, we can lead the country. And we can control the narrative about why we're suffering and why we're on the streets and why we're under bridges and why we're freezing in Rochester in February. Good God, pray, right? Freezing out on the streets. We're gonna control that narrative by changing the narrator, because we were being talked about that we were homeless people as if it was some condition we were born with or something affliction. No, we were kicked out of the economic system through which we got food, through which we got housing, through which we got health care. And I'm going to tell you what's happening today. Millions of people have lost their health care. Millions of people are going to lose their housing. This moratorium is going to be lifted. California, they're saying that they have till February to pay a certain amount of rent or they're out. They're already getting ready. They're putting out notices. Get ready. You know, these people got to go if they don't pay their rent. These are the stories that we have to reframe, right? That we have to put out. And we're doing that through the new, reestablished Homeless National Union of the Homeless. In 2019, we worked very closely with the Poor People's Campaign, New York's Poor People's Campaign, so near and dear to my heart. Ooh, what's this? Some warriors in New York State Poor People's Campaign. Love you all. We worked very close together to pull together people in the states while working with the chapters and the organizers in Poor People's Campaign to identify people that wanted to join. And in the second event, the Moral Congress, we came together, some 50 people. Patrick and I were there 8 o'clock in the morning. We were exhausted. Everyone was tired, but we got up, we came together, and we formally voted on reestablishing the National Union of the Homeless. And today we're in some 10 to 20. It depends on what day how many people you talk to, but we have a number of places across the country that are building either full unions, they have established unions like Rochester, or organizing committees to build homeless unions. And what we do is we're talking about weaponizing all these actions to build political power, which is different than electoral power. Excuse me, I've been talking all day. So I'm sorry, I keep tripping over my words. It's different than electoral power in that political power actually changes a system, right? It's a revolutionary in that it changes a system. You build the power to make change. And a quote by Martin Luther King that please allow me to paraphrase, but you build enough political power among our class to force those who would to say yes, who would be much more desirous to say no. And that's political power, to actually have power over your life, over the food you need to eat, over the homes you need, over your health care. And we do this through what we call very lovingly, I just got kicked off the internet again. Can you all still hear me?
We can hear you.
You can hear me still? Something's going on. Something's going on in New Jersey and my internet keeps kicking off. I'm terribly sorry. I just wanted to make one last point. There, I'm back. Can you see me now?
Yes.
All right, I apologize. I've been getting kicked off all day. I deeply apologize. The last point I wanted to make was that we do all this through what we lovingly call revolutionary perseverance. And if you break that down, we're talking about revolutionary because we are not mobilizing for concessions. So when Patrick got rooms in a hotel, Patrick went to that hotel and organized and built leaders and identified and found people to build the union. So, you know, it's revolutionary in that we are doing what we do to make change. We are not mobilizing for concessions. We are organizing for change. So that's the revolutionary piece. And the perseverance is, I think Patrick may exemplify the best perseverance. When you're exhausted, when you've gotten a loss after loss after loss, or, and Patrick and I talk about this a lot, you're given what you think is a win, and then they end up coming in the back door and taking it back from you anyway or changing it. So it's how do we stick and stay? How do we persevere through small wins and concessions, but still keep the union power, or through a number of losses? And we do that by building our leadership, by supporting our leadership, and by replicating ourselves every day. And we're using the winter offensive. So there's the national winter offensive, and then each local is doing stuff within their own local union. So we have the Rochester, one of our most advanced areas in the country, has an entire series of things they're doing in Rochester. I mean, that just make, you know, this is what we're working toward, right? National Union of the Homeless is holding a number of events in partnership. So we're supporting each other. And the next one that's coming up is one that many people have heard of, but we reframe it in the National Union of the Homeless, that it's not a time to show off how well the nonprofits and the do-gooder organizations have done to take care of the homeless people, but we use it to memorialize our brothers and sisters, our siblings, our loved ones that have died on the street, and give them some dignity in death that they were not allowed in life. We're holding up the atrocities of Potter's Fields. These are these mass graves that if you are unclaimed or unknown, your body just gets put into, and they're growing every day across the country because more and more people are being thrown out of the system. More and more people are becoming homeless and therefore dying on the street and being buried in mass graves. This has got to end. And we're holding that up, that this is an indignity on top of a life of indignities, that you get thrown into a mass grave with no name and no identity. So we're holding up that this has got to stop. And we're doing a national service on the night of December 21st, the longest night of the year, nationally and virtually. We will get all that information out on all the Facebook pages. It will run from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're working very closely with the other unions to support that. We hope you all will join. We're having another event on the Sunday after Christmas with our Freedom Church of the Poor. And we're holding up the invisibilized life of Jesus, Jesus the revolutionary, right? Jesus who fought and built a movement through projects of survival. While feeding, he taught. While healing, he taught. While housing, he taught. He built disciples and then sent them out to find other disciples. That was the power. That's a revolutionary Jesus we don't often hear about. Jesus was born a homeless refugee running from a state. His family was homeless. We don't talk about that. When we talk about putting Christ back into Christmas, the National Union of the Homeless says, you have to talk about these things. You have to talk about housing somebody, healing somebody, and feeding somebody while organizing to build a movement that ends the very state system that made you homeless, hungry, and sick and dead in the first place. And that's what we're going to talk about and frame on December 27th. We will also be posting all the login information for that. All of these events will be posted on the National Union of the Homeless, but blasted out to other local union Facebook pages as well. And the last one is Martin Luther King's birthday. It's on the 15th, which is a Friday. We are going to do a national event on that day as well, holding up again the invisibilized life of Martin Luther King and his last 3 revolutionary years, where he moved from civil to human rights. and holding that up, because in the original Poor People's Campaign, because we don't learn about that either. And we're also looking with a bunch of the organizations that we work with, Poor People's Campaign, Put People First, Rise Up North Carolina, all of these other organizations, to do a week of action holding up the message of the Poor People's Campaign. And we're still working out the details of that, but again, it'll all be on our Facebook page. I just want to say that we are in a dark time. We are in a dark time. More people are being thrown out of the system. Patrick framed this very well. We're just going to see increases. And we are going to get very angry, and we are going to get very hurt around this. But Willie Baptist, a mentor and a friend of many of us, wrote a book called It's Not Enough to Be Angry. And every day, I know Patrick as well, every day we reflect on that. It's not enough to be angry. We got to take that anger and turn it into a revolutionary force, a transforming force. Revolutionary perseverance, my friend. And another Martin Luther King quote that I will close with, again paraphrasing, is we must maintain eternal hostility towards poverty, eternal hostility towards the militarism budget that could feed and house and clothe everybody in this country, and eternal hostility towards racism, sexism, ageism, any ism that's holding us and separating us. We have to come together across these lines of division and fight back to kill the system, my friends, before it kills us. And I just want to say as I close, Rochester Homeless Union, you're in my heart. You've been in my heart for decades. I'm so happy to be here. Please give my love to Sister Grace. I'm sorry I missed her tonight. And to everybody listening, we're going to do, 3 things. Again, I'm going to repeat Willie Baptist. We have 3 callings during this winter offensive, so you might want to write them down. Okay, you ready? Number 1. Organize. Ready? Number 2, organize. Number 3, organize. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Thank you, Sabine and Patrick, for having me. Much love.
Thank you so much, Kristen. Every time I hear you talk, we talk all the time, but every time it just leaves me with chills and always leaves me feeling way more inspired to organize to really change the system. And, I think the biggest thing that we want to do with this event, but also with the Winter Offensive, is really change the conversation in the way that we talk about addressing homelessness. I think we see from a lot of nonprofit to government officials that it's, sheltering is a solution, like temporary sheltering is a solution, or really doing nothing at all. And so really changing the way we understand how to actually address this and why people are poor, why people are homeless. These are the conversations we want to have and the stories that we want to change, because it's really important and people's lives really depend on it. So I want to go into a Q&A session for our panelists. And so a couple questions of a theme I've been seeing, and really for Patrick and Tracy, is what's the current situation with the hotels providing houses for people? And then what's been the relationship with different county and city officials? Do they know what's going on? Have they come to the shelters to see what's going on? So kind of talking about, in your experience, your relationship with how the city and county has been addressing homelessness in Rochester. And you can talk about what's happening right now. So either Patrick or Tracy can start.
I'll speak a minute. And I'll stand from my laptop. Yeah, the city is aware that there are a lot of people being evicted from their homes, and a lot of people, homelessness almost becoming double the amount of people. We got the opportunity to speak with some assembly members and people that have political positions here in our city. As usual, we hear they have an interest, but they don't seem to walk up or step up to the plate. For what we have, especially now during these times, we do have figures that have one positions of officers that were on the ground with us that can have our voice through where they're positioned at this particular time. We begged the city to provide housing during COVID, and then get, we want a place that we can have it overseen by our people so that we know that we'll be taken care of, not sent to this place or that place, out of the city, out of reach for a homeless person's needs, staying in a hotel out in the suburbs where they can't go to a food pantry. You just go drop a person off there and leave them. We struggle to bring awareness that the solutions that you guys have entitled, that you have been planning, taking them to the shelter, and because of COVID, the CDC guidelines don't allow so many people by square footage, about a 6 foot distancing. Now you're just putting them wherever you could put them and not having a concern for them. Speaking with Tracy, and Tracy is like one of the people that I can come to at any given time and say, I got to do so and so. Can you check this out? She's been going out in the hotel systems and actually finding out what's going on there. And the things that we were being told aren't exactly what's going on there. When we had the Radisson Hotel, we were able to provide them 3 meals a day, assist them with all their needs, hygiene products or whatever, because they were out in the middle of nowhere. But our team of people will go out there and provide these things. But they're putting them in roadway and other hotels now that nothing's being actually done with them. They're just being dropped off, and those people get away from those places. They'd rather be in the street than to be somewhere hungry and can't get back to a food pantry, or can't go get a hot meal, or can't get their clothes washed, or can't get any type of assistance to just drop a person off. It's kind of hard to get back and forth, especially when you don't have the funds, the monies to get from one place to another, to get to a pantry or to get, and then when you're in the hotels, you're only allowed to have so much in there, and they got rules and regulations in the hotels that it's to the extent where, quite a few people have walked out of these last hotels that they've been put in, and you see them on the street, and you wonder, like, man, what are you doing? Why? And then you get that explanation. You're like, okay, I got you. We've been fighting to obtain the old Radisson, and we well, I shouldn't say, but yeah, the person that owns that place, they're willing to let us have it, but we got to figure out how to get the funding, and the funding's not coming from the city. The city just refuses to try to have a building or a place to put these people in that particular building. We probably wouldn't even have anybody on the street. And I'm not making a story. We got, I think, like 400 rooms or something in there, if I'm not mistaken. And still, if that was to happen, that would pull a lot of people out of the sheltering system. And the shelters
won't get no money.
My personal opinion, are there to make profit.
That's right.
Homelessness. And that's going to be part of, that's why we call it Winter Homeless Offensive, because as we walk through our winter offensive, we need to let this be known what actually is going on in our society, what's actually the reason why people are homeless.
That's right.
It's all about them obtaining finance, poverty pimpers. And it's going to be a hard war, but it's going to be one that's fought with knowledge, education, because we're going to study, we're going to know exactly what we're talking about before we even open our mouth to point a finger. When I point a finger, or we point as the homeless community, the poor people point a finger and they're not going to know what they're talking about. There ain't going to be no ground where you can't keep them from standing, because they're going to be prominently want to fight. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's one of our things. We're sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yes, we are.
We do have a leadership team that's even going to another level. This COVID has sent us to another level. It's time for us to put our foot down. That's what we used to say. Right now, it's time for us to start stomping, and we're gonna walk forward, and we're gonna keep walking forward. And our team of people, we ain't afraid to begin to understand more than we understood in the past.
Yes. Couldn't say it any better. You hear me, Sabine?
Yeah, go ahead, Tracy.
I do a lot of outreach twice a week, and I've been to a couple of shelters, and you know, let me say something. DSS, DHS, Department of Social Services, however you want to word it, what acronyms you want to use, only allow one person $440. Where are you going to live with $440? Let's be real. What can an individual do with $440? Rent is $600 and $700. Number one. Number two, in order for the people to get any type of assistance, they need ID. But you can't get ID if you don't have an address. And you need ID to get ID.
Right.
You know, then the third thing, when they get all these things, they tell me they have a listing of apartments. I asked one of the caseworkers, you seen the apartment? She said, yeah. I said, would you live there? She said, no. I said, so why would you want to put them in there if you wouldn't live in there? So a lot of the apartments they have for the people that are less fortunate, that don't have an apartment right now or a home, they wouldn't live there. So why would you want to send them there? Because we supposed to be so grateful that we would take anything, because that's how they treat them. Then they're talking about giving out, if the bills get passed to give housing vouchers. That's a beautiful thing. But who's going to accept them? Landlords don't want to accept the housing vouchers. So it's like a win-lose situation a lot of times all around. But if you don't know what it's like to be homeless, you better pray to God you never have to experience that. Because it's the most ugly, traumatic, devastating, degrading thing. There's a lot of other words I could use that we feel when we don't have our own. Humbleness, please. And then you expect people to go to the doctors and get COVID tests and whatever other tests they need to do. When you're homeless, you don't think about nothing else but getting something to eat, getting somewhere warm, and laying yourself down. That's all you think about. You ain't think about no doctor's appointment. Where I'm gonna keep my medication at? Where I'm gonna get my appointment slips? With the mail you're gonna send me? I don't have a mailing address. And then also on top of being homeless, we need to address the mental health. There's people that have mental health. Things happen to them. Some of them might have been born that way. You take them, and then you want to send them to the doctors, and you know the doctors is the number one pimps because they want to fill us up with all these pharmaceutical medications because everybody come along with a new medication. Everybody's still getting paid off us. Then you put us in a hotel, which people are grateful for. But if you could put somebody in a hotel and pay hundreds of dollars every day, why not put them in their own home? Someplace they could call their own. They don't have to share nothing with nobody. But the government don't see it like that. You know? But I'm not going to give up the fight. And whenever I leave this planet, I know people are going to continue this work. This is a work that's never over. It's continuous every day. That's why I'm with the Rochester Homeless Union, and that's why I work for Vocal. Our voices are vocal, and we fight. We fight for the people in the community because their voices should be heard. They have a voice. And we're trying to end homelessness any way possible. So I hope anybody hearing this, call me. Let me know what you feel. We got to end this homelessness because one day, at a blink of an eye, you could be homeless too. You see, COVID came along, wiped a whole lot of people out, thousands upon thousands. That could have been us. But thank God we're here. And a lot of people became homeless behind this pandemic. So thank God it ain't you, because it can happen in a blink of an eye. So get on board with us and help us to end homelessness. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Patrick and Tracy. Really, no words. I feel like I have no words to come after that because everything you're saying is so powerful and so real. For my own experience, I think sometimes it's like, oh, well, the city must be doing something, something must be going on, and not realizing the, all of these like policies and gaps that, seem almost strategic, where it's meant for people not to access this. It's meant for people to not get access to homes because it's just, there's so many loopholes and gaps everywhere that it just seems like it's almost too perfect for people to not access. And something, we had yesterday on December 10th was the annual Declaration of Human Rights, where we have rights to housing, to healthcare, to food and water, and all of these have been commodified, where it's, in our current economic society, you aren't, given those basic human rights. You have to work to earn it. You have to have money to get those things. And that is why you see people who go without that in the millions in this country and then around the world. I just want to bring up one more kind of question for the three of you. What, from your experience, all three of you have experienced homelessness, and why is that important to be an organizer, to be a leader? I know we talk about in the Homeless Union, the Poor People's Campaign, it's poor leading the poor, and that's a huge element of the organizing model. So can the three of you speak to that, of how having that direct experience yourself really shapes the way you're able to lead and organize?
Well, my personal, I believe that you're able to relate and understand, okay, able to relate and understand what they're going through, what the homeless is going through, what the poor people, what the impoverished is going through, because you've been there on the ground walking in that same mud, same stink that they got on their shoes, you got it on you. And because of that, you're able to speak and talk to people, and they know exactly where you're coming from, and you know where they're coming from. You begin to build a relationship and a concern that they have of you and a concern that you have of them. And that brings family, and that brings people that will support you and fight right along with you, because you're fighting for all of us at this particular time.
That's right.
I used to understand, I used to didn't understand a lot of things that were right there in my face until I actually started to open books and listen to my mentors, go to schooling. And that blind, I'm no longer blind. I can see what's right there in front of my face. Not just because I was on the ground experiencing it. I was on the ground experiencing, to be honest with you, yes, what was going on. But academically, I did know what was going on. And it opened my eyes and to see the doors that have been closed in front of people because of their color, because of their class, because of their gender, is something that shouldn't be. I believe in Christ. I believe that all of us are brothers and sisters, that nobody's better than anyone. You can't point the finger at a person because four of them supposedly point back at you, three of them. And, I listened to someone told me once, says, if you're in pain, you're gonna yell. And there's a lot of people yelling. It's a whole lot of us yelling. They say, Mia, this person can't go in the street and just make a scene and everybody will pay attention. We need a whole lot of people to start making scenes so that people will know what's going on. People sitting in their homes, they don't know. That's one of the things with media. We've been struggling to get media to bring awareness. As a matter of fact, we're going to have Sunday at 11 o'clock. If you can capture the piece that we did with WHEC News, it's going to be, we had the opportunity to sit down and speak and let our society know what's going on. And we're going to continue to do this. COVID has hindered, but not stopped.
That's right.
Out there carrying signs, but that door that closed, open doors, other places in the media right now, in these Zoom meetings, we can reach out to a whole lot of people. We can get a lot of awareness and educate a lot of individuals that are going through the same things that we've been walking through. We got that mud on our feet. Like I said, we got a stump. So that's what I have to say.
Oh, for me, it was, I was on drugs. I sold drugs. I was in prison. I did outreach. I tested people for HIV, AIDS, STDs. I've been around, seen a lot of things. And now I'm on this side. I know I could do a lot of work. I can make a lot of difference. And I know us together, we can help the homeless. And that's just my fight. And I'm not going to stop fighting until the fight is never over. So until I leave here, I'll be fighting. So when you see me on the front line with Patrick and everybody else, we're fighting.
That's one of the things I really appreciate you being there, helping the homeless union, Tracy. I'll be honest with you, because there are things that a few of us are unable to relate to because we have been there, done that. We've seen a picture of it, but we didn't hear any music in that background. We didn't see the video. We just saw a picture, and so that's an expansion of what we're doing. We could pull it. We're not focusing on one area. We try to grab the whole globe and rip it off. You know, people like when we used to go to, especially in People's Action, we'd have a meditation for them, and they just like, you grow bigger than the world, and then you just wrap your arms around it, in your mind. Me sitting in the back of the class, yes, I did. My feet did go through the earth. My head did go to the top of the earth. But when I reached around, I did my best to snatch all the crap off of it. So that's what we should be thinking about.
That's right. Hey.
Cindy, did you want to say
So,
something?
yeah, I have a couple things to say about this. I was part of the homeless union with my mom in Maryland, right outside of DC, as a late teenager, early adult, and just being around that. And my mother said this as well. I got to interview her a few years back, and she had been part of community organizing and worked with communities, especially through the church. And she said that when she was part of the homeless union, she had, for the first time, conversations with people to truly understand, have an analysis of why these things were happening. And that it framed it in a systemic way. And it was coming out of the stories of those that were directly affected, the most visible aspect of economic violence in this country, telling stories about how they found themselves to be homeless and shattering the stereotypes, right? Shattering them. And from that, you, as we showed earlier, that you find yourself again, right? You get all those layers of shame that the world tells you it's your fault and you failed. So there's the one piece about being part of the homeless union and telling your story so that others can hear it. One of our main slogans was one paycheck away from homelessness. And it took the stigma away. We got to tell our stories about what made us homeless. That a number of us, a huge number of us worked. And it's very interesting we use the term the homeless unions, because back in the day, many of the people in the homeless union were trade workers. And highlighting that we were the people that built this country, and this country is ours, and the resources are not in the hands of the many. It's in the hands of the few, and that's a problem. So it's understanding what's happening to you is one piece. And that analysis, when I became homeless, right now I was facing homeless with my children. And for me, that was the worst. That was just, in my story, the worst was I had failed my children. And, but I understood that there was a systemic issue going on here in a society that thinks that I have no worth and doesn't put anything in place to help people when we have the resources to do so. And the thing about experiencing it is that those directly affected will tell you when their pain stops. So in Rochester, we use concessions and we use bases of operation like House of Mercy, but we know that's not the end. We know that 50 subsidies does not end homelessness in Rochester. And freedom isn't free. If they gave it to you, they can take it away. And they haven't removed the conditions that made us homeless. We know there's still no living wage jobs. We know that the system makes it very difficult for us to get concessions and sanctions the hell out of us. So we live in terror of losing that subsidy anyway. You haven't removed the problem. You've just made the limbs and the leaves look pretty, right? But the cancerous roots still run deep. And we can tell you when our pain stops. We tell you from our analysis and our strategy what will solve our problem. And we build leaders to do this, because what's a leader? If I have a problem and Patrick has the answer to my problem, he's my leader. So the leader's coming up from the ranks. It's not just somebody going through the experience. It's that they then go through a revolutionary process to become a force, right? To become a revolutionary and learn about the past, learn about the system, learn about what's going on in Rochester, studying the budget, getting to find out what the heck is going on here, and taking the experience and putting it with political education. And my friend, you hold a sword up that could cut the head off of this system. Wake the sleeping giant, right? And that's the power. And that one last thing I want to say about this is, Patrick started out that video by saying, I'm a tree cutter, right? And I found myself homeless because I couldn't work anymore. How many, and we pride ourselves in this country on the working class, the people that built America. Well, those people are homeless. The jobs are gone, right? And we have to tell those stories, because the one paycheck away picks up and looks at the underbelly of the problems of this society. If we keep looking at fixing the person, that's an incorrect strategy. It will never fix the problem, right? Because it's an incorrect analysis of the problem, and we can tell you that. I'm not broken, I'm not bad, I'm not trash, right? I'm not industrial waste. And we can come up with our own solutions, and we will create strategies based on the correct analysis of the problem. If you don't, your strategies are doomed to fail. And the nonprofit industrial complex is a huge example of an incorrect analysis and crappy strategies, because homelessness, hunger, right? All of this is getting worse. Their strategies aren't working. Well, we have the answer. We can tell you the answer. We'll tell you when our pain stops. And that's what the National Union of the Homeless, along with working with other fighting organizations to unite our class, are here to say, is we're here, we won't be silent anymore, and we have the solution. You just need to move the will. Thank you.
I just want to give a huge thank you to our speakers tonight, Kristen, Patrick, and Tracy, just for the incredible, powerful, educational, revolutionary talks and points that you all gave. I really hope that everyone who came here today was able to leave with something that they didn't know, and also feel like they have a different way to think about homelessness and poverty in our country. And this is just, again, first steps to moving towards that. This is the first event of our winter offensive, and everything that we do with the Rochester Homeless Union, with the National Day Homeless, the Poor People's Campaign, is we want to change the way that we think and we understand poverty. And so that's what we're going to do at every single event, every time we meet moving forward. And so with that, I want to talk about the events that we have coming up for the local and national winter offensive, and then we will end our night tonight. So I will share my screen. So on Sunday, December 13th, from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m., we're doing a Project of Survival supply donation drive where we'll be giving everything that is donated directly to the people. We'll be driving directly to the people, so they don't have to come to us. We are going to go to them and cut through all of the red tape and issues that happen when people donate to nonprofits that honestly sometimes things just do not get to the people. So we want to change that, go directly to the people, and also just check in with our community, see how everyone is doing. So we'll be doing that from 12 to 3 p.m. You can drop it off at 287 Flower City Park, but also at the end of the month we will be partnering with Rochester Mutual Aid Network and a couple other groups to do a follow-up donation drive as well if you can't make it this Sunday. Also, this Sunday at 10 a.m. on Channel 10 News, Patrick Braswell, as well as our other fighting member, Michael Marshall, did an interview, which will be featured at 10 a.m. again at Channel 10. So that will be a really powerful sentiment and really looking at homelessness and healthcare in Rochester and putting up the New York Health Act to get universal healthcare in our state. And then this coming Monday at 7 p.m., we'll have a homeless memorial that will be live streamed from our Facebook page. It's going to be a really powerful event. We're going to have music. We're going to have a few different interfaith leaders from the Rochester community and just really give, again, dignity to the lives that they were not given, dignity in death when they were not given to in life. And so we will do that on Monday. And then we want to honor the lives, but we also want to move to change the conditions and that caused these deaths, and we want to prevent death from happening. So we're going to be organizing a Right to Housing, Not Death in the Street car caravan on Saturday, December 19th at 1 p.m. And I put a link and I can post it in the chat, and it will also be on our Facebook page as well to sign up if you want to participate in that to get more information. And then for the National Union of the Homeless, we have a few events as well. We have December 21st at 7 p.m. You can go to the National Union of the Homeless Facebook page, and we'll be doing a live stream memorial then. As Kristen always said, also on December 27th at 6 p.m. And then we'll be also organizing around the week of January 15th. We'll also be partnering with the Nonviolent Medicaid Army to really look at healthcare as well. So that's what we have moving forward. And so to get involved, please join our events. You can message us, you can email rochesterhomelessunion@gmail.com to get updates, to really follow up, to join our homeless union as well. And supporting Rochester Homeless Union is also connected with the National Union of the Homeless and the Poor People's Campaign, as well as Vocal New York with Tracy. So again, I want to thank everyone so much for coming tonight. I will post also on the Rochester Homeless Union Facebook page the link to the documentary, The Road We're On, which you can share widely. It is a public video. We really just want to spread awareness. So please watch that, share that with a friend, share it with a coworker, your family member. It really means a lot, and I think it will really make an impact, hopefully, in the Rochester. And so please support us, come to our events, and just stay tuned for more. And we're excited to meet you all and work with all of you. And so I hope everyone has a safe rest of your night. And again, I want to thank everyone who is on this call, and also shout out to the New York State Poor People's Cam Media team for helping us put The Road We're On together, and we're going to be making more media content as well. So with that, I'm going to close out the night. And as the Poor People's Campaign says, one step forward, not one step back. With that, I'll say good night.